I'm an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up! I'm so happy you joined me today. I hope you have a nice hot cup of coffee or tea or perhaps something cold if that's what you desire to keep you company while you're watching me. We're going to make a very pretty pop-up card like this. And you open it, and the butterfly comes down, and when you close it, it pops back up again. Isn't that pretty? I'm going to leave it right here on my work table so you could see it as I'm working. And now I'm just going to turn the camera down so you could see the workspace. All right. The dimensions of this card are 8.5 by 5.5, and we're going to score it at 4 1/4. The inside is a basic white. The outside, by the way, is Highland Heather, and the inside dimensions are 4 inches by 5 1/4, and the front of the card we're using the beautiful Hydrangea Hill DSP, and that is cut at 4 by 5 1/4. Now, in order to make this card work, you need these two mechanisms. The first one is cut at 3 inches by 4 inches, and the second one is cut at 2 1/4 by 3/4 inches, and we're going to start scoring now. The card base is scored at 4 1/4. Got to put my glasses on, excuse me. And I'm scoring it with our super duper paper trimmer and cut and score blade. The score blade is the lighter, the cut blade is the darker. Now, your large mechanism is scored at 1 inch, 2 inches, and 3 inches. And the smaller mechanism is scored at 1 1/4 inches. Okay, now I'm going to grab my bone folder, and we're going to give each score line a nice crease. At the end of the video, I will place a written description of all the cuts as well as the score lines for you. Okay, usually I save the inside of the card for last, but we're going to do that first today. We're going to take our tape runner and just run it around the outside of the basic white. And of course, I'm using my silicone craft mat because if I didn't, I would have a very tacky, sticky area to work on. When I line things up, I like to use my grid sheet. That helps me to keep things straight. I have a problem trying to find the middle or whatever it is you need to find to get things on straight. There we go. We did that good. Now we're using some butterflies from Butterfly Bijou. I have a small one just for the inside of the card. Let's grab that craft sheet again. And we're just going to glue it right to the bottom there. You don't want to put anything too big because you don't want to impede your card from opening and closing. Now the next thing we're going to do is put on this beautiful Hydrangea Hill Designer Series paper. Now, for this, you're only going to run your tape around the outside. You're not going to put any glue or tape inside the card, and you'll see why shortly, because you don't want to glue everything down. We have to make a hole. Oh, let me open that up, be easier. And we're going to try and center this as close as we can. Good job. Okay. So, I do want to show you this Stitch Shapes die set. Wonderful set. It's a good value. You get 4 shapes. All are stitched. Here they are. You have oval, square, and round, and they all have beautiful stitching around the outside, as you can see. So I'm going to take the largest oval, whoops, and the next to the largest oval, and we're going to use that to cut out our circle on the front. Try and line that up so that that's straight or centered. And in order to do that, I do need some washi tape. Now, with washi tape, you do have to be careful because it can cut the inside of your paper as you're removing it. So we'll put it on there lightly, and we're going to run it through our Stampin' Up! Cut and Die machine. And when we're done, this is what comes out. And we have these 2 pieces, Highland Heather, Hydrangea Hill. Now, in order for the pretty Highland Heather to show, I am going to take the next to the largest die and run it through our our die and emboss machine. And with that, voila, we have this smaller piece that's going to set inside here. We just need to put some glue, tape runner on it so that it will sit nicely. Try to get it centered. I do seem to have a problem centering things. And now that is going to sit inside of there, like so. Isn't that pretty? Alright, we've got that done. Now all we have to do is put our mechanisms on. With the mechanism, we're going to take and put one end close to the score line, not on or over the score line, because you don't want to impede the closing of the card. And I'm going to put just a little bit of tape there on the white cardstock. And we're going to run this close to the edge and try to get it centered, and then just smooth it down. Now we're going to fold it in half, and we're going to take and run the glue. Be generous with your glue. It's the end closest, once you fold it, it's the end, the inch closest to the card, to the top of the card. Then you take and you just rub this down And now when you open it up, you have this nifty little box. And that's part of the mechanism that makes it work. Then we have this smaller mechanism, and we're going to take and we're going to run glue up the whole piece of it. The larger piece, this side here, gets attached in the middle front of the box. And I put a finger inside the hole, and I just rub this shut. Now we're going to close that down. We're going to take our oval, put it in place, try and get that lined up nicely, and we're going to rub that down. So, what we have now is a working mechanism. Now what's left is to decorate. Fun! Such fun to decorate. We're going to put glue. Remember to use your craft mat so that you don't have a tacky surface. We're going to take this little butterfly and put it on an angle. Now if you notice, I only put glue on the bottom half of the wings. I did not put it on the top half. If you put it on the top half, it's going to glue itself down to the top of the card, and you will not be able to open it. So there we have it. Opens up pretty. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to put on some pretty little gems, and I'm using purple. Put one here, and I am told that when you put gems on your card, you should always put them in series odd numbers, because they claim that they're more pleasing to the eye. I'm going to put a little gem here on the body of the butterfly, and then follow that up with a smaller gem because the body does taper down. So we have a total of 5 gems on our little card. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a pretty bow, matches our paper, and we need glue dots from Stampin' Up, of course. Put it on the back of the bow, and we're just going to take and press it down, and there we have our little bows. Now I also want to put a salutation on it, and we're going to say best wishes, and we're going to stamp it with the Highland Heather so that it matches our card base. And again, I do need to try and use my grid pad or grid sheet so that I can get a nice straight salutation on there. When you use your stamp pad, try not, well, first of all, try not to get any ink all over the surface, because you don't want to transfer it to your card or to your salutation. Put it on, rub it, hold it down just for a few seconds so that the paper will absorb. Remove it, and there you have your best wishes. Now, next thing I want to do is close this up and get it out of the way, because I don't want anything to happen that would be disastrous. Okay, we're ready to put the salutation on. And as you can see, I use dimensionals a lot. So for this, it's a small one. We only need perhaps 2. Nothing goes to waste. We use everything we have. Even though we have no little holes, we could still use the outside of the dimensionals. Just cut them up the best you can. Turn that over. Put that on. You only need 2. This is not a large one. And we're going to take our pick tool and remove the papers from that and get rid of that. And the best wishes can fit down here very nicely. Now, what do you think? I think that's very pretty. You open it up and this comes down. And you have that pretty little butterfly. Now, I don't have any tackiness on my inside of the card, but if you find that you do get some glue on there, just take that resin that you would use to emboss your cards and rub it over the surface, and that will take care of that. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to turn the camera up for a little bit. I do hope that you will push the thumbs up button for me. Hit the subscribe as well as the bell. I would love to have you come back, and if you order anything through me, that would be wonderful. I do appreciate you joining me today. I do hope you will join me again soon. Have a great day. Bye now. There you go. There's all the dimensions for you. And there's your card.